let me get in the zone. I'm so out of the zone.
It's all good. Let's just whatever we feel, whatever we are. That's what we are. Good thing, don't wreck a good thing. Good thing, don't wreck a good thing. Welcome back to Adam and the Bee, episode 5. How are you feeling, BINX?
I'm feeling good. I think we're feeling pink. We're thinking in pink today. How are you feeling?
Thinking red.
That's pink.
This is pink?
We're going to have this debate again.
I'm so colorblind. This is ridiculous.
I don't think it's even that. I think we all, as humans, taste and see and hear and feel things differently. Do you know what I mean? Like, I think if this color looked red to you, it looks orange to someone else. It looks pink to somebody else. Everyone's senses are different. You know what I mean?
I'm pretty sure watermelon juice is red, but we'll leave that to the people to
But not
decide.
even the color, the way things taste. You taste things very differently to how I would.
Very true.
As somebody else would. So if we were eating like a whole bunch of different foods, somebody's not going to like the texture of a melon or a texture of raw fish, you know. Other people are going to love it.
Yeah, I didn't like watermelon juice at all at first because I've had very minimal watermelon juice. Why are we talking about watermelon juice all the time? We love our watermelon juice. We're
always talking about watermelon juice. And we're dressed like watermelons.
This is the episode of the watermelon. Be ready for it, guys.
If you could see the green screen right now, plus our pinky ready ambiance with our watermelon juice, we're turning into, you know, they say you are what you eat.
Very true.
We're turning into watermelons.
Let's make our backdrop this week. Let's make it a big watermelon.
Okay, I'm gonna work on that.
Okay, let's make it happen. So today we're going to talk about joy and happiness. That's one of the first topics that I wanted us to hit, and you actually came up with that one. So walk me through it. What do you feel about joy and happiness, and what exactly does that mean to you?
I'm so excited because our word of the week is joy. We've been having these discussions about the difference between joy and happiness and what it means to us and how we find it on a daily basis. And basically how the conversations were going is I've always been fascinated by, recently I've been thinking a lot about how people have certain goals in mind. And with their certain goals, they feel like they won't be happy until they reach a certain something, right? So we place all of our happiness into a goal that is out of our control. So whether it be I'm only going to be happy when I have $1 million in my bank account, or I'm only going to be happy when I get that promotion that I really wanted. I'm only going to be happy when I meet the love of my life. And I'm only going to be happy.
I was checking the
Shout
box.
out to yourself. Check. So
knocked out that one real quick.
I did. I definitely knocked that one out. Or you knocked that one out.
We both did. I feel like that's a mutual thing. Let's hope so.
Oh, it is hot in here.
Sun is shining, girl.
You, or is it the sun? So there's these specific goals or ideals that we have for ourselves and what we define success as. And I think I've been thinking about it a lot more about how I've been kind of living my life in a way that's so unhealthy in the sense of I don't allow myself daily happiness because I always think, no, I'm not deserving of that today. I need to wait till a specific celebratory moment when I feel as if I've deserved to have the celebration of what I'm trying to achieve.
It's this all future dated happiness where it's like once I get to this certain point. So looking at the destination and not the journey is what you're saying. I'm curious for like a specific example though. Like what in your life right now would you say this relates to? So what are some things that you found yourself drifting towards that maybe make you feel like the happiness is down the line versus what's in front of you? What are you seeing that are areas that you're growing into?
I think career-wise, I'm such an ambitious person that I always feel like I'm gunning for something every day.
Mm-hmm.
I'm always like trying to get to the next level of my career, and that I've always been that way. And I might have mentioned this before. In The Sims, when you pick like an aspiration for your sim. You either pick like family, or you pick money, or you pick career. And I was always the one that had like the arms up with the stars, and it was like the ambitious one that picked the career. Like that was what I valued. And it's funny because my values have changed over time, and
Hmm.
family has, or people, not just family, anyone that I love is my priority, is my value. But I was putting a lot of value and a lot of my happiness into my career, and I still do it. I still do it. It's a consistent thing that you have to work on.
Yeah, but a lot of us, sorry to interrupt there,
No,
but
no, you're fine.
a lot of us go that route where we look outside of ourselves for something that's going to bring us happiness. And I think that that's the trap.
And placing things that are not in our control. So
Oh,
like
man.
this career thing that I want, like you can do what you need to do to get to that point. You can set goals, you can work on it daily, you can do all the things that are necessary to get to that point, but at the end of the day, it's out of your control whether it happens or not.
Yeah.
And that's the trap that we fall into, because we put, I'm going to be happy when that happens, when it might not happen. And I'm not saying to not believe it's going to happen, because I'm a firm believer in being like, anything can happen, but to not base your happiness on that one specific event.
Yeah, because a lot of what we do in life is there's this constant longing for more, right? It's almost like
Always.
when you go to the gym. Yeah, I go to the gym.
The gym is wherever you.
Dramatic pause there. Everybody's gonna be like, no, no, you do not go to the gym right now.
I
Like
mean,
I know you,
everyone.
Adam, and with COVID, like you
Well,
go to the
home gyms
gym
are a
in your
thing now.
home with a yoga mat and some
That's a
25
gym. That's a gym. The
pound weights.
outdoors is a gym. However you're working out and exercising, it's a gym.
Life is a gym, and the reason why I say life is the gym is in more ways than one. Like it equates exactly to life. You build up a muscle, and as you build up that muscle, it's so easy to say, okay, I'm here, let me push for an extra 5 or 10 pounds, and then you fail. And so there's this constant longing to get better, and we don't see that incremental growth because it's a day by day process. But a 6 month snapshot or a 12-month snapshot will be like, okay, yeah, there's some actual gains here. But the mistake or trap is to try to look at like one given day and thinking that we're going to conquer the world in one given day. But the funny thing is, all we have is one day. So ultimately, there's this 24-hour window. Shout out to a upcoming record.
Upcoming record. I love that.
I'm shamelessly plugging all the time. So the 24-hour window you have becomes your life. What you do in this moment, if you just live this moment in peace, it's going to be your life. So it's somewhat of a trap to live only for that future gain, because in more ways than one, if we can enjoy now for the rest of our lives, we figured it out.
Just like that quote, I put it on the chalkboard on the kitchen the one day. I love this quote. I don't know where I read it, so I don't know exactly who it came from, but it is, how you spend every day is how you spend your life.
Mm-hmm.
And that, like, I just got chills just from saying that.
Yeah.
Because we get so caught up in the future. We get so caught up in what we're looking forward to instead of looking right at this moment. And it's so easy. Everyone always says it, live in the moment, live in the present, but there's so much more to that.
100%.
It's just it's the daily happiness. Like I think so. We were talking about Sadhguru as well in a previous episode, and something I read, he said people used to feel fulfillment and happiness when they had a full belly. So when they ate a meal, that was all it took for a human to feel happy and satisfied in their day.
Yeah.
Just having a full stomach. And the amount of things that we take for granted. Like, we woke up this morning, the first thing we did was eat breakfast. And we overlook it. We don't go, oh, what? Like, we appreciate it. We go, this is a great meal. But you don't feel happy and fulfilled. Like, wow, my stomach is full this morning. There's so many people out there that don't even have access to food. And we're so concerned with all these other things that need to make us happy, when, hey, eating a meal should be something that makes you feel consistently, these little reminders throughout your day to consistently bring up your happiness and just remind you to just consistently be happy.
So with that, the best things in our life can actually become problems as well.
I love this because you were talking about that.
Yeah, so I want you to go into that as well. But even eating, right? For example, if you overeat, for me right now, it's granola. Like if I have that second bowl of granola, it's a wrap. I don't feel good after the second bowl, but just enough. So having moderation, having a balance between what you're actually doing makes a difference. And then also this longing for more. For example, we've got some studio equipment and things of that sort. And as you evolve into that, there are more complexities to it. So there's more of a process, there's more of a learning curve, there are more tools and resources. And that can cause unhappiness with the wrong mindset, at least, where in many ways you're using these tools and you're thinking that it's making your life easier, but then it creates more problems along the way. So are you grabbing that problem and saying, oh my gosh, I'm so blessed to have all of these tools and resources at my disposal, something that enhances my life? Or am I almost becoming a slave to all of the stuff that's around me? And that happens more often than not, but that's because the happiness is coming from those external items, not within ourselves.
You blew my mind when you told me that, because I think I've heard it before, but it was right place, right time.
Yeah.
When I was feeling serious, just frustration this week, and Adam was literally saying the things that like we want bring us so much discomfort as well. And you think of like, right, if you get a new MacBook computer, you're so excited, right? Because it's like a fresh new toy and you can afford it and you bought it and you're investing in yourself, you're
And you
investing
worked
in your
hard for it,
career.
right? Like something that you earned in some way, shape, or form to get to this point.
Yes. And then all of a sudden it's, I have to take everything off my old computer and move it to the new computer, and then you have to make sure it's working correctly, reload all the programs you were using like Final Cut and all these things. And you just it's what's that saying with the rich people? They always talk, like really really wealthy people, they'll say, oh, money can't buy happiness or whatever, because and then the people that are not that wealthy are always like, what are you talking about? Like, I would be so happy if I could have financial stability and things. But they always talk about how the more money and power you get, the more responsibility, the more you actually have to deal with. And and someone who's not in that position can never understand it, because when you have a simplified life without that financial security, you think that all your problems are going to be solved. But you pointed out an example of, so let's say right now your biggest issue is trying to get financial stability in music, right? Because as an independent artist, it's an extremely expensive career, but it's also difficult to pay the bills, especially with COVID, not being able to perform, not being able to earn in various ways that artists were normally able to
ways,
to earn. And now it's just, I completely lost my train of thought. This happened to you last time. What was I saying? I don't even have a clue. I started thinking about watermelon juice.
You were talking about different revenue streams in terms of how people. Man, I completely just lost my train of thought. I was trying to get back to the actual train of thought. So
I remember what I was saying. So I was saying how with more money, with more power, more responsibility.
Real quick, as Biggie says, more money, more problems.
Welcome back. So there was a little bit of a glitch in the system. The camera just turned off, and it wasn't the battery, it wasn't the memory card. It just gave up on us.
It's funny how that's like life.
Or did it fall asleep? It's kind of like an audience member who just fell asleep in the middle of our conversation.
Let's hope no audience member is falling asleep in this conversation.
The camera was just like,
if you need to take a break, you need to take a break. No, it's like life, where in more ways than one, you plan for certain things to happen, and then it doesn't happen the way you expect. So we literally just got tested where we wanted to run through this podcast as like from beginning to end, no edits. Let's just try like a raw session this time. And then it stops mid-session. So if anything, this is like a great example of life where, how do you embrace that? Do you laugh it off the way that we are right now? Because there's no choice. It's like, okay, you can't control it.
Not only that, the camera died. He leaves. He knocks over his water all over the floor.
Huge amount of water. I had this I'm a very thirsty individual in life.
I'm a thirsty individual.
And I literally spilled this huge amount of water on the way out. So is it Murphy's Law? Is that the thing that when one thing goes bad?
Yeah. And so the funny thing is, right before this, I was telling Adam, there is no escaping things breaking, things falling, things not going our way, things creating obstacles that until we can just embrace it, it's going to continue happening. But regardless, just wanting to wrap up this section, we're having such a fun conversation.
Can I say one thing before you jump into that? It's so funny that we're having this conversation about joy and happiness today, because all morning I've been working on a new computer setup and an interface, and I have had
the opposite of joy and happiness.
It was like there was no joy,
frustration.
there was no happiness. There was sadness, despair, grief, loss,
Exhaustion.
sorrow. I mean, if you would have seen me before this podcast, like I looked like somebody had literally just kicked my dog.
Like
Like
the
it
Dementor
was.
from Harry Potter that like
Oh my god.
sucks the happiness.
Is that how I made you feel? Jeez. Jeez. I hope these people have not
I,
seen Harry Potter.
I think I just wanted to say that because we're getting closer to Halloween, and
Okay.
so I wanted to reference something scary
It's
and
October, so
spooky.
that's you get a pass for that one. But in more ways than one, like I
It
was
wasn't that bad.
the,
I just,
so
it's funny.
so I was the opposite of that earlier today. And if anything, it's because I was attaching myself to the result of what I wanted, which was like a plug and
And
play
we're just
process.
impatient. We're just impatient with things. We just want them to work. So our lives are so much easier in this day and age, but we want it fast and we want it better and quicker. And
Yeah, and working hard for it sometimes does give a higher level of appreciation when it does work. So when things are
yes.
going right, you have a benchmark to compare that to is when things go wrong. So
Most
finding that
importantly,
balance of appreciating when the good things are happening and also having patience to understand that if something negative does happen, it's just a wave. It's as simple as that. And having the right attitude and mindset will get you out of that a lot faster, which is why we're recording a podcast, because you can't be sad having a podcast.
and most importantly, how are you feeling now?
Much better. I'm 80% better, but I'm now thirsty because I spilled my water.
You've got
I just
some
said
water-
watch her like you do on some of your recordings. I'm hanging out with her too much.
Like in my,
I need some American friends here.
My songs.
All you Americans out there, please come hit me up in the DMs.
My my sea song.
Your sea song?
Well, it is a sea song. My song Sea Salt.
Sea salt.
I say the
yes.
word water,
Water.
and it's just so so funny.
And now I'm saying water.
So drink up all your water.
Joy.
You're thirsty
What brings
for-
you joy, right? Because we didn't even get into this, but happiness is attaching to a moment or an experience or trying to squeeze, as I've heard, squeeze the happiness out of something, versus joy is a state of being. And that comes from within versus looking from something external.
Perfect. So it's a great way to wrap it up. So if you could do in the comments happiness and write what you think will bring you like long-term, like a long-term goal that you think will bring you happiness, one that you're working towards, that you hope to get, and then do joy and write down something that in your day, something simple in your day, whether it's a warm cup of tea, whether it's a nice bowl of cereal, or if it's a book that you're reading in the sun, or if it's a walk outside, whatever it is that brings you simple joy in your day that can continue to make you happy on a daily basis. Let us know in the comments below.
And then we're going to talk about healthy habits, right? That's the next piece.
Are we just diving right into it?
I was going to dive right into it.
Let's dive right into it then. I would love to dive into a cool pool right about now. This room is hot. I would love a little bit of sea salt ocean waves.
Look at you plug your new single. New single on November 5th. Is it November 5th?
Yes.
Okay. How I memorized that, I don't know. So
Good
let's
memory.
talk about healthy habits, because joy, happiness, that translates into what we do on our daily basis.
Healthy habits in a relationship and healthy habits with yourself.
I love it. Do you want me to start or do you want to
Yeah,
go?
take it away.
Healthy habits.
I want to get away. Sorry, that's the song that popped into my head when I said take it away.
Are we aging ourselves? How old is that song?
As old as it wants to be.
It's vintage,
Time has no
authentic.
place in my mind. This is me training myself to not care about time because I'm obsessive about time.
Yeah. So let's dive right into healthy habits. Healthy habits for me comes down to
In a relationship, why don't you let us know a couple of things that you think are healthy habits in a relationship to have? Like what keeps it fruitful?
keeping it fresh, right? So the same way that you have a mango tree or a lemon tree that bears fruit. So if you pick too much of the lemons or the mangoes
Ooh,
all at once,
Yes.
I love mangoes and lemons.
I love mangoes.
But if you pick it all at once, like there's probably no life that's going to come from that tree. So you don't want to squeeze too much out of that. So knowing to let that tree flourish to a point where it continues to bear
Are you
fruit.
saying like if you take too much from your partner?
Absolutely. So finding that balance, and we talked about balance in the past, finding that balance of what your partner needs. So that nourishment, right? A tree would need whatever a tree needs. Unfortunately, I don't really know the water, soil,
Sunlight.
nutrients, sunlight. So giving it the right environment to bear the best fruit that it can bear, and
Mhm.
then not
Mm,
plucking away too much of it.
that's beautiful. That's such a beautiful visual because it's true. I think a lot of times we can take too much from our partners and and then the silent little killer comes in, which is resentment, right? So, like, if you're not pulling your weight, your partner will start to feel resentment towards you, whether it's, if you're not helping around the house as much or not cooking or not cleaning enough, or you just kind of have to find that healthy habit of. So, to elaborate on healthy habits, I was also reading something that was saying affection is a really healthy habit to have.
Yes, it is.
So cuddling, holding hands, kissing, just always kind of
Massage.
it's like a
That's the special one for me.
yes. Oh, it's a great one because I also read something that massages, if you do like a 10-minute massage every day, it actually heightens what is it, your happiness and your relationship levels of like feeling really good about them.
Well, we came up with that system of the 2 3 minute rule. Are we 3 minutes now? 2 minutes? How many do we do?
I think 2 minutes was just not working. You sit down in 2 minutes and it's already done.
Uh,
So 3 minutes is like our minimum, but I think we've been doing like actually 4, 5 minutes.
Well, we listen to our body, and
Yeah,
then we
and whatever
respond
we have
based on that.
time for, yeah.
Yeah. But
But we
that builds that connection, like you're saying, like that touch point. That's that nourishment that goes back to the tree analogy.
we wanna do it more, but I actually know another couple.
I got you.
I
I
won't
got
mention
this.
names. Thanks, babe. I won't mention names, but I remember I was talking to them and I was like, "Oh, I wish we massaged more." And I remember them saying like, they were like, "We massage each other every single day. Like they don't miss a day." And I was like, "That's such a healthy habit to have because you're
Was that a
de
code word? Do you think was that like a massage?
What do you think? Let us know in the comments below. And maybe that's my naive, like innocent self. I'm like, oh, they give massages every day. That's so nice. But
If you like to get a massage,
massage. So that's a great healthy habit. So if you can incorporate more affection with your partner, just a little touch, a little graze, just something to, and this doesn't just go for your romantic partner. Affection is needed from everyone, from a
it is.
friend, and a hug and a squeeze and a grab on the shoulder, a high five. Those kinds of things go a long way, especially now, and it's hard because we've been so deprived of physical contact that I think that's going to be a very like low, like a really necessary, what do you call it? It's like a low on the list right now because people are really in lack of physical touch.
You're right.
And another healthy habit I would say is just words. By always reassuring your partner with beautiful words of how wonderful you look today and how sexy you are, how inspired I am by you, and just words of just always encouraging your partner that, to be their best self, that you're inspired by them. They make you a better person and
Well, I want to
that
call out
they're
two
funny
things.
and
First off, you're spot on. Words translates to two things. So words of affirmation is a love language. So that's one half of it is if your love language is words, you're going to respond more to it. If somebody's really good with words like you are, it may become a secondary or tertiary love language. So knowing what your actual love language is a huge part of that. So catering that to your specific individual that you have a connection with. The other piece is communication. So you talked about resentment earlier, and resentment comes from a breakdown in communication or one individual not being able to share their needs or wants or values based on a specific issue. So if anything, really just healthy communication, having that
yes,
touch point.
exactly. And even if words of affirmation is not your love language, everyone in a relationship wants to be told that they look great or that their bodies are banging or whatever it is, you just want to make your
Body's banging, girl.
thank you, so is yours. Why don't you take off your shirt? Let's get a look. But I guess if you do that, I'd have to do the same and
Yeah,
can't really get out of the
yeah,
stress right
we're
now.
not gonna do that for the. I mean, your fan base might like jump
This would
twenty
be a very
thousand
different
fold,
platform,
different audience for
different
sure.
on,
We're gonna stay
which
away
is what
from
we're
that.
about to get into. Know your audience, or is that?
That was a great play on that. No, that's great. Yeah,
Yeah,
I love
are
it.
we
Yeah,
knowing
we're
your
gonna go
audience?
right into it.
We're gonna go right into it. Know
So
your
so
audience.
this week ish, you had two shows. You had one a little further away, one a little bit closer, and I'd like to get a feel for like what it was like being back on stage, testing out new material. You had some new songs that one of which is releasing November 5th, Sea Salt. What was it like to get back on stage? And I know you had some differences in your audience from the first performance to the second, and how that connection translated to like how you felt about the shows.
So something we've been diving into a lot is recently, just before I dive into that, is fine tuning your audience. And because I haven't been performing for a long time, so I had this show last week, completely different audience to what I'm normally like used to, and the audience that I had 2 nights ago was also just very different to what I'm used to. And it's so interesting because every time you have a show, you don't know who's going to be there. You don't know who's vibing with your music or not. But I think I've always just kind of tried to just cater to everyone, and because I just do my thing. But one thing I'm starting to hone in on is who my audience is.
Yeah.
Who do I actually want to reach? Who do I want to touch? Who do I want to inspire? Who am I actually speaking to? And I started to finally find my niche with that, and he's been helping me a lot with that. And I feel like it's actually helping me find my purpose now in where I'm going with my music and my career.
I love that.
And I'm sure you feel the same, where you need to know who you're talking to, because if you're talking to everybody, you're not really speaking to anybody. You need to kind of tone it down. I mean, people will find you that work with it, but just to talk about the shows, the audiences, the more you know your audience, the more you know what jokes to make, or and it's not to say you have to adapt or change yourself, because who you are is who you are, and you should always be
Be you, be your
100%
best version of
authentic.
yourself at all times.
Yeah, but it's also helpful to know who your audience is. So if an audience isn't vibing with you, or if you just have to keep in mind that go to where you know that you're going to be appreciated with your music. And
Can I? I'm gonna share one piece. Hopefully, you can appreciate this one. So the first show we went to. Should we shout them
Well,
out, or should we just keep it vague?
just keep
Vague.
it
Okay.
clean.
So we went to
Squeaky
a
clean.
nice location, and a lot of the individuals that attended this event are doing very well for themselves, which is amazing. And there was a moment where BINX was calling out the struggles of an artist, because it is like there's this huge journey and there's ups and downs, and to be a person that's going to consistently grow, again, you've got to fail along the way.
Or not even just an artist, any person that is going for their dream. They not necessarily going to be earning a huge income at first, because they're choosing their creative outlet versus just getting a random job and making a lot of money.
Yeah, so in this case, a lot of people were already at a point where they've been highly successful.
Financially.
Yeah. And you mentioned, you were like, the struggle is real, and you could see the audience
I was
didn't
like,
fully capture that. They were like,
why am
nope.
I making a joke to people who've already they're like, I'm cool, I'm good, what struggle?
They're like, I'm good. But the truth is, even those individuals probably we actually spoke with some individuals that talked about
We
like
did.
the personal life, and how some people go through marital issues and other issues. So there's a lot behind closed doors that doesn't trickle out into like
Well,
what the
everyone
image.
struggles in their own way.
So you had one audience, and then you went to a polar opposite audience. And I once heard a general context of, you don't find yourself, you define yourself. And in many ways, you actually do both with like who your audience is when it comes to your music. So in your music, you might find who you are, and you might define who you are through your art. But once you go live, that connection with your audience, what does that look like?
I was actually just thinking that we didn't bring the cards out here to do the card of the day.
Oh gosh.
And so
Well,
I
let's skip.
completely
Let's
wasn't
just.
listening to anything that you said. I was like, okay, well, I brought that bowl. I just completely went into my own world.
I
So
can
I
maybe make.
apologize, folks.
It's all good. I can make up something real easily.
Well, if you don't mind, we if I could just change topic for a quick sec.
Okay.
I was thinking about the cards, because normally we do a card and we ask each other a question. So I thought we have these mantras that we love to read out, and I thought you could pick one out
Let's do it.
and we could just read it, and it's just something to lighten your day.
This is ridiculous. The purpose of life is to know yourself, love yourself, trust yourself, and be yourself. So
Okay.
how does that
Weren't we just
Just
talking
not.
about
It completely relates to what we're talking about. That was like that was as if we planned it. But
if that spoke to you, please leave us a comment below because that was just amazing.
beautiful. You want to repeat it?
Yeah. The purpose of life is to know yourself, love yourself, trust yourself, and be yourself.
So speaking of, I was talking about finding yourself and defining yourself through your art. So finding who you are, what you represent, what you're about. You've seen that in your own musical journey, which translates to life. As you become more self-aware, you define who you are and who you want to continue to grow to be. But then how does that translate to your audience, right? Because you've been doing shows in different venues and you're seeing different responses at different venues. And I heard Russ talk about it where he said when you find like your niche, like your actual audience, just general context here. I've got 4 brothers and each one of them is so different. You've met all of them. And I love all
So
of my
different.
brothers for sure, but like some of them listen to country music and some of them listen to more rock music and there's an audience for each individual. So I saw that early on, but the reality is like I can't expect somebody that listens to death metal to enjoy my music. Or
Yeah.
if someone listens to classical music only, like they may or may not like BINX. Like it is what it is, but finding your audience. So with that said, what was it like at the second venue that you went to and performed? And by the way, you rocked it because you are a rock star.
It was a lot of fun, and thank you. It was a lot of fun. I think at the core of it, I'm starting to focus more on why I'm doing things and what makes me happiest on stage. And I think it doesn't matter who I'm trying to cater to. The people who resonate with my music will find me if
Mhm.
I'm being authentically myself. And I think there's been times that I've been doing things that weren't authentically for myself. And this last show, I became a lot more mindful about things I wanted to do on stage and
Yeah.
how I wanted to be. And I kind of took a little tip from Adam. He came across this cool mirror trick, right, where you stand in front of a mirror and you actually talk to yourself, and it sounds
Shout out to Mel Robbins, by the way. So she's got a book out that talks about like the high five, or I'm gonna botch this up. I haven't read the book. It's a new book, but Mel
we just
Robbins.
found out about it, so we're gonna dive into that.
Yeah, so definitely check out Mel Robbins if you don't know who she is.
But it sounds strange, right, to talk to yourself in the mirror. But and Adam brought me into the room the other day and he made me do it and he made me high five myself in the mirror and I was like, this is a little bit weird, but I'm always open to things. So I'm like, this is a bit weird, but I like it. And actually, before the show, I did that. I went into the bathroom and I literally spoke to myself in the mirror in my head. I didn't need to say it out loud, but I spoke to myself and I just gave myself a little mini high five. And I was like, hey, you love this. I was like,
Yeah.
you want to be on stage. You want to entertain people. I love entertaining people. It's just been in my blood since I was little when I saw my family doing melodramas. I wanted to make audiences gasp and laugh and get excited. And that's what happened. So, like at the show, with all the costume changes, everyone was just, and it just makes me so happy when I can bring excitement to people's lives and shock value and
Yeah.
and keep them entertained because I mean, who doesn't want to be entertained?
Yeah, I love the fact that your show has a piece of entertainment, but you organically come out as yourself every time. Like you're so authentically you that shines in between the songs and that shines in terms of the way that you connect with the audience. So to me, that's part of Binx's secret sauce is just that
Ooh,
authentic self just
I like
shining
that.
through.
Secret sauce.
Yeah. Who got the sauce? You got the sauce.
Well, now that we're talking about sauce, I think I just found my word for the rap battle. Are you ready to do the rap battle?
Yeah, let's do it.
And we're gonna do the word sauce.
Sauce?
I don't
Okay.
know, is that hard? But we're gonna try
Oh,
it.
that's a hard one, but let's do it.
Well,
All
we can
right.
say it with swag like sauce.
Um,
Oh, that is hard. I can't think of anything.
do you want to go first or do you want me to go first?
Okay. I'll go first. So,
Okay.
well, I'm gonna start with the word sauce. So,
Yeah.
okay. So, uh, give me that good sauce.
Drip, drip. I only take wins, but some people take a loss.
If I could push pause, this moment I want to push pause.
If you know my girl, then you know that she's a boss.
Baby, when you look at me, you make my heart pulse.
I know that we battling, but this just may be a toss.
My what?
We're battling. It might be a toss, like a
Oh,
toss up.
oh. Uh, baby, I'm the O and you're the cross. X's and O's.
What's coming out your mouth is
Hot
floss.
sauce?
Okay, that was
Wait,
all
okay.
right. I took the L on that one. Sorry, guys. That's
Don't be playing me like Rachel and Ross. We'll be on a break like Rachel and Ross.
why we gotta be on a break.
I don't know. I don't know. I guess we'll take a break now and end the podcast. So, who do you think won that rap battle? Comment below.
I'm just gonna forfeit that one. This is like playing chess, where you're just like, what do you call it?
I mean, I would forfeit all of them.
I'm just tipping the king on this one.
But let us
You beat
know
me.
who you think won that rap battle below. It was a little bit rusty. We'll get better in the next one.
We're gonna have to start practicing.
Oh, I have another one. Baby, you magical like Santa Claus.
Oh no!
Ho.
I guess that's an ad lib. That's all I had. It was just an ad lib. Just throw it in there. Just, oh no!
Oh, suddenly I'm thinking of all these other ones. But anyway, we'll move on. But
Thank you guys for joining episode 5, Adam and the Bee. We'll see you next time.
see you next time.
Good thing, don't wreck a good thing in vain. Don't wreck a good thing in vain.